This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening, welcome to your nightly newscast on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here. Before we get to the news in detail, let's get to today's front page comment of the Kaieteur News. Gas to shore, another white elephant in the waiting. The government is hell-bent on having the expensive Wales gas to shore project. Though it is a billion-dollar price tag, the PPPC leadership has been secretive with information that all Guyanese have a right to know. If the project is so beneficial to this country, it is difficult to fathom why there must be so much resistance to sharing the details. Guyanese need to know what the supposed bonanza of the Wales Gas to Shore project is, another pipe dream, a white elephant in the waiting. The gas in the reservoirs, the excess of which is currently being flared into the atmosphere, could be another way in which Exxon holds the operations of the Wales pipeline, when completed, hostage, and Guyana with it. Exxon would need some of that same gas to re-inject into the second access holes around the production sites to boost the pressure to send the oil to the surface and tankers. When it does so, Wales would have to wait, workers idled, and the plant slowed. That means additional expense and already assumes the appearance of another Skeldon factory. The money will come from the many financial institutions falling over themselves to lend Guyana billions and indebted us for generations. The World Bank leads the lenders, and Guyanese are reminded of how it joined with the oil companies to entice Ghanaian leaders to borrow for what is a disastrous pipeline project straining the energy sector of that country. The government is pushing to have this billion-dollar gas-to-shore project. There is the likelihood that we will have far more cubic feet of gas than we need, or none when needed. Trinidad has the entire machinery that handled its gas for decades. It is surprising that it has not been engaged to lend expertise and guidance. No, it must be Exxon, and it has to be secret. It will be costly, and yet another dud. And now for the news in detail. Country manager of ExxonMobil Guyana, Alistair Routledge, revealed yesterday that the oil giant is currently flaring 16 million cubic feet of natural gas into the atmosphere per day. These details come after Exxon on January 29th had reported that a third-stage gas compressor had failed, thereby causing it to increase flaring from its pilot levels. At 16 million cubic feet per day, our calculations show that in the 11 days that Exxon had increased its flaring, it has already flared 176 million cubic feet of natural gas. Further, Routledge stated that it would take approximately 8 weeks for the compressor's manufacturer to inspect the defective gas compressor. Within those 8 weeks, Exxon will continue to flare 16 million cubic feet per day, thereby taking the total volume of toxic gas flared since January 29th to 1.72 billion cubic feet. In other news, the Minister of Public Works, Juan Edgell, has said government engineers are not being paid to waste taxpayers' dollars. He made it clear that the government is prepared to sever ties with those engineers who prepare sloppy estimates. Sloppy estimates, the minister explained, can eventually result in contractors being overpaid for work under government projects. The minister pronounced the PPP's plan to prevent overpayment on contracts. And now let's tell you, ExxonMobil yesterday held a closed press briefing during which it revealed flaring is now at about 16 million cubic feet of gas per day. It is notable that this is higher than the rate of flaring early last year when the former EPA head, Dr. Vincent Adams, slashed ExxonMobil's production at the Liza Phase 1 project to reduce the environmental destruction of flaring. Dr. Adams had cut production low enough that Exxon was flaring 12 to 15 million cubic feet per day. There are many lingering questions following ExxonMobil's press engagement yesterday, but it abruptly ended after the brief question and answer segment. And now let's tell you, as it stands, neither Guyana nor Suriname can independently offset the shortfalls in their shore bases for the oil and gas sector. Cognizant of these deficiencies, Rudolf Elias, the CEO of Suriname's state oil company, posited that both countries should partner to meet and supply those shore-based demands. Shore base is an onshore support facility, which during drilling, development, maintenance, and production operations provides services to the oil companies. Elias reminded that one of the basic things both Guyana and Suriname need to prudently manage the oil sector would be that of building effective shore bases. Elias based this advice against the reality that both countries have similar river depths. And moving on, the Liza Unity oil vessel, which will support ExxonMobil's second production development offshore Guyana, is expected to sail the Keppel shipyard in Singapore for Guyana by mid-2021. So said President and Chief Operating Officer at Hess Corporation, Greg Hill. The development of this project is estimated to cost a total $6 billion. It will target 600 million barrels of oil. Notably, Hill told analysts that the installation program to be implemented at the site could result in completion a little bit earlier than expected if everything goes right. In other news, 3 brothers are in custody for the murder of 20-year-old Bell West resident Emmanuel Solomon and are expected to be charged with the capital offense of murder after the post-mortem examination revealed that the deceased was stabbed a total of 17 times. The suspects are aged 26, 23, and the other below 18 years. State pathologist Dr. Nihal Singh revealed that the cause of death was due to a fatal stab wound to the heart. And moving on, a Sophia man was on Monday attacked and stabbed to death at his home. Dead is Kevin Smith of Seafield Reserve Dam, Sophia. According to police reports, Smith was stabbed multiple times by a 22-year-old male at around 18 hours 30. Investigators reported that the suspect entered the Smith's premises and attacked him. Smith reportedly put up a fight, and there was a brief scuffle between the two. Police are currently hunting his attacker. And moving on, a 6 to 7-year-old taxi driver is currently in the ICU at the New Amsterdam Hospital after he was stabbed by his 43-year-old wife on Monday. The taxi driver, Colin Helliger of Pilot Street, New Amsterdam, Berbice, Region 6, was stabbed in the early morning hours at his home. Investigators reported that his stabbing stemmed from an argument between him and his wife that morning. According to what we were told, the couple was experiencing domestic problems for some time now, which likely got out of control on Monday. And that brings us to the end of this evening's newscast. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6